if Maresca doesn't succeed and they sack him, then I think stuff starts to get spoken about between the board and the fans.
But that's what it is in top level clubs. These 2-year, 3-year, 4-year processes don't exist. Look at them. Take City out of it. Take Liverpool out of it with Klopp.
Arsenal.
Look at them. What have Arsenal won?
Well, they've won an FA Cup, but at this moment, but they're on a far better trajectory.
Trajectory is all well and good. You don't put that in the trophy.
But let's look at it realistically in terms of winning a Premier League. They are fighting against one of the best managers to ever do it. If they were to achieve that, the fact they've got this close 2 seasons in a row is exceptional, and it shows that they're actually being rewarded for kind of not being rewarded in terms of silverware, but being rewarded in terms of where they are on the last day of the season 2 years in a row.
And that's what it's about. Finishing runners up is all well and good. Every manager,
they're getting as close as they can.
You can do better. You can do better if they had a better hold up. Let me just respond on the Arteta one. If Arsenal had a better manager, they win this. They should have won the league this season just gone, and definitely should have won the league the season before. They were literally on top of the league for 90% of the time or something like that.
That's like saying
you're asking players flawless.
Klopp should have done. Klopp should have won more at Liverpool as well.
Klopp was not
Arteta.
On the last day a couple of times. So you're telling me, are you going to find a better manager than Klopp? At the time, there's only one.
No, not a better manager. No, but you can be critical of Klopp. But what Klopp did was win. Klopp won. You know what I'm saying? Arteta's not won, and I've gone out on a limb and said this about
how
Arteta.
well Klopp did over 9 years.
Arteta won't win a Premier League or Champions League at Arsenal. I've said this at the time, and I stand on this.
I agree with that.
So why keep him?
What I struggle with though, from that perspective, when you're looking at it, every time you go into a competition, right, there might only be 4 competitions a year. That means only 4 managers out of all of the European competitions can be winners. Absolutely. There's only 4 men that you can sit there and say, all right, if you're looking at the top honours, there's only going to be potentially 4 winners out of all of these crops of managers that have spent years getting experience, getting coaching badges, working and developing on clubs. I think at this moment in time, and this probably speaks to the level of why the Euros have been particularly poor as well, is the fact that there are other elements in club football now that are prioritised in order to keep you as a relevant top-tier club. So in terms of the trajectory that Mikel Arteta has taken Arsenal back onto, it's taken them back into that competitive bracket. And if you would have asked Arsenal fans prior to Mikel Arteta, after Arsene Wenger, what is it that you want? Their answer, first instinctive gut answer would have been, we just want to be competing again.
And he's done that. And now you move it on to the next guy. That's where Arsenal are at. And you move it on to the next guy because he's not good enough.
But what you're saying there is you move on to the next guy. And it's not to say that he's not good enough, but as part of that, it's the process. So that is not necessarily the end product. And I've said this a couple of times to Potts. Arteta might be your Brendan Rodgers. There is a possibility, and there is a world where he is your Brendan Rodgers. He rebuilds, he picks the trajectory back up, he brings you back to a relevance, but he's not quite the guy that's going to get you over the line. But at some point, you harness that, and then you say, we've got enough foundations now that if we do go out and get the next big hitter in terms of manager, we can take it one step further. Chelsea haven't started, or haven't. Not say they haven't started that process,
and I agree with you.
That process
to an extent, I agree with you. But Poch isn't that guy. Poch is not. But you have to restart it. Poch wasn't the guy. The man were mid. Why are we acting like them man were mid-table for the vast majority of the season?
No, that's unacceptable.
That there lies for this. In their lives, why
these things take time, and
they do.
Arteta was lower down the table than where he is now in the first season. He still won an FA Cup.
Did he not win an FA Cup? But he won an FA Cup.
Pochettino was this close to a League Cup. It was down. It was down to literally luck that we probably didn't win that league.
No, it wasn't lucky. No, let's not do that. It wasn't. He was also bad in that he did a Southgate. He didn't go for it in extra time.
Okay, I'll hear you on that as well.
Rewrite history. Let's not try and rewrite history with this, man. We know Poch didn't go for it, man. We all watched that final against Liverpool kids. It was Liverpool kids. Everyone will know this. We all watched it.
I do hear you, by the way. What I'm saying is there was chances that could have been taken on either side before it went to extra time. That means you win the game. And Pochettino was got us there. He then got us to the semi-final where ultimately that was probably even more on the side of luck against Manchester City, where we had a couple of chances where Jackson just simply wasn't on it that day. whether or not that's luck or he isn't good enough or you can't rely on him in them moments. You know, he was very close to almost being like it's a very similar trajectory to where Arsenal were on that first season when they won the FA Cup, but luck was on their side to go and win a trophy. It takes a lot of luck to win a trophy. You know that as a United fan. You won a trophy. You shouldn't have even been in the final. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah. But there is elements of luck. However, there is fine margins, and managers live by those things and die by those things because they can impact this. At no point should Chelsea be mid-table with the team you have.
No, I agree with you. No, they shouldn't have been.
And you lot went, and it's not like Chelsea were mid-table.
Pochettino's idea, one, Pochettino had to blend the squad that didn't know each other, had completely different ideas to the two managers prior to him. So, because even Casado's come out and said it, under Pochettino, it was run. And how many of these players have come through academies or other team systems that have similar ideas to what Pochettino has? No, because Pochettino's ideas are outdated, and if not, they're used in South America way more than they are on the European continent.
Outdated. That's why
you flip it to you, go flawless. Let me flip it to you dead quick then.
Yeah, of course.
For your club. In the event, right, you get your wish, Ten Hag's gone. The next Don that comes in, you feel is actually taking you somewhere. You can see the system. You can see that he's bringing in youthful players and players with potential that have got high ceilings. You can see that the acquisitions in terms of the players that have been bought or of a better package, whether that's the compensation side of things, it's ticking all of the boxes that for you, Ten Hag hasn't been ticking. However, the league place slips in that first 12 months. Are you being the battle axe and saying he's got to go?
How long is it? If we're no point. First 12 months. No, if we're mid-table for the vast majority of the season,
this is the problem that Chelsea have been experiencing.
Well, it's not. No. Let me stop you there. It wasn't. Chelsea were the only team I watched last season who looked worse than us. They were worse coached than us. There was no system. Let's not do this with Chelsea. They were the only team I looked at who were worse than us.
I understand that for a large part of the season they were. But what I mean is, in terms of their ability to see out a season with a manager to say, we're going to start in August with you and we're going to finish in May with you, right, hook or crook, and then we're going to assess to see if we can build on what you've done. Chelsea.
The reason why that's a bad mindset, because then that alleviates that said manager of any accountability. So you still have your targets and your objectives, but you look and see how the season's panned out. He fell way short.
No, do you know he kind of did, but he actually learned. He was all not that he should be learning on the job, because he should be in a position where he comes in and establishes himself straight away and his system works. I think he realized that his system wasn't translating well to this squad of players, and he had to adapt and he had to change. He did adapt and change, and ultimately Chelsea moved up the table because of that. Then, when Chelsea had the option to sack him early on in the season, like you're suggesting, Flores, when they were awful and they were probably one of the worst teams in the league, they should have done it. They didn't.
They gave Chelsea incompetent.
Okay,
100%.
They then gave Pochettino and Chelsea a chance at having stability. He then proved that it was worth trusting in him, because he then moved them further up the table. And ultimately, if he'd finished in the way that he was since like February time, we probably would have got top 4. We didn't. Yes, he made a lot of mistakes on the way as well, but you can't deny that he learned from his mistakes earlier on in the season. He finished in a better position. The fact that they've then changed him out for a manager who has 0 Premier League experience, worked at Leicester, and ultimately has signed one player who was his star boy at Leicester and had a shocking spell at Parma as a manager.
Shows their incompetence.
That's what I mean.
Like, don't get misunderstood. Your board is incompetent. Enzo wasn't a good signing. 100%.
Why are you suggesting that we're going to have stability by not sacking Pochettino when the time was right, to then remove him in the summer to add even more volatility to the club for a manager who is even less qualified to do the job than Pochettino?
Do you know what?
No,
I was just going to say, like, since the turn of the year, I swear Poch had them in form, like top 4 form, right? Since the turn of the year, January onwards, right? He turned Chelsea around, if you like.
I think after the Wolves loss, I think things started to change, actually.
And I hear what you're saying about, like, I don't know if maybe the fans were ready to turn on him because of the Tottenham links and stuff, but almost feels like if you're going to build a project, you need to be bringing in a manager with a lot more, history behind him, so that they can say, do you know what, actually, Enzo's shown us in the past, he'll get it right, so let's give this guy time. I almost feel like bringing in a championship manager is not going to work, but I do think, like, all these top clubs, they're in a rat race, because Pep Pep could be gone next season at the end of next season, and it's about which clubs are in the best position to then kick on. And that next the club at the minute is Arsenal, right? Because there will be a drop off after Pep goes. It's natural, right? Regardless of what City fans tell you, and they say, "Oh, we'll get the right man" and all that. There will be a drop off, and then it's like which team's best positioned. And Chelsea definitely. I mean, same for Manchester United. Actually, keeping on Ten Hag, I think. Now's the time to make sure you start to get the wheels in motion with this next manager, and you get a couple of seasons behind him, because when Pep goes, it's then game on again, innit? Let's be honest, it's game on again. And Arsenal at the minute
they are the one that's most. But again, that's why I hear about stability, but you have to get results. You can't alleviate a manager from accountability.
Okay, but then he did get results, Flawless.
Like I said with Southgate earlier, I don't give you. Everybody watching Chelsea could see it wasn't working, and it took you pretty much the entire season.
It took 30 games, I'd say.
Yeah, so it took you 30 games.
But then he did get there.
And then even on top of that, it's like that's too little, too late. You're not adapting. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's obviously how the board saw it. The issue is
your board's incompetent, but we know this.
Yeah, they are, and they're proven to be even more incompetent than what I think anyone believed. I think that's the issue, isn't it? Because if they had any competence about them, they would have gone, do you know what? It might have taken 30 games, but we've given this guy a 2-year contract with the option of a third. Let's just give him next season, and then hopefully there's a manager on the circuit that we feel is a better fit. We can go after them. But I feel like they've sacked him in a market where it's almost desperation. Then they were like, right, we have to hire someone quickly before pre-season starts. Who do we get in? Who's available? Who's flavour of the month? Right, this guy's just won the championship.
That is the other thing.
If you know Pep, you're getting a job. That's it. If you know Pep, you get a job.
I mean, we've seen a Premier League. We've seen a Premier League manager get relegated with Burnley and be offered the Bayern Munich job because he knows Pep. This is how bad it is out there at the moment. There is nobody out there. Now, I'm actually with Flawless. A lot of people know I'm not going to go into my thoughts on Mikel because I do it every single day on this channel. For me, he has to get across the line. Otherwise, there's going to be serious problems.